Thank you, Harsha. Harsha is amazing. Can we hear it for Harsha? It's such an honor to be here, to be standing with the power women of the downtown east side. I want to thank you for your courage, for all the fighting you've done over the years, for all the fighting you did during the Olympics. We appreciated it across the country. Thank you so much. I'm here to support the demand of this action. I'm here to support the demand of this action, which is for no condo development on the downtown east side. It's a clear demand, it's a fair demand, it's a moral demand. I was privileged to attend the signing ceremony this morning that Harsha mentioned. It was incredibly moving to be there at the anniversary of the Save the Fraser Declaration, saying no to Enbridge pipelines and to tankers. And there were many speakers, many chiefs spoke, and they talked about what this resource extraction model means to them. A loss of culture, a loss of land, displacement. That is what people are afraid of. Where are people displaced? They're displaced to here. And now they're being displaced again. That's what we're hearing, being displaced again. As Harsha said, the real housing policy is prisons, including private prisons, so that you can make some more money off of incarceration after you make money off of gentrification. It's all connected. It's one story. I did an interview today on a call-in radio show that will remain nameless. And one of the callers explained to me that there isn't a need for an Occupy movement in Canada because Canada doesn't have the same problems as the United States. It doesn't have these problems of inequality or politicians that are owned by corporations. The action that took place here 2 days ago at Occupy Pantages puts the lie to that. It exposes it as a lie. I've been part of the Occupy movement, and when I spoke to our friends in New York City, what I said about what they did that was so powerful was, in a country that is claiming to be broke, to not have the money to pay for basic services, they set up camp in the site of maximum abundance, that being Wall Street. And they said, this country isn't broke. This country doesn't have a budget crisis. It has a distribution crisis. The money is top. And I think it is so exciting and so moving that as the Occupy movement evolves and changes, now what we see is people occupying spaces at the site of maximum exclusion, the site of maximum inequality, to show the other side of that. And that's what's happening in this city, and that's what we're a part of today. And I'm very proud to be with you, standing with you today. This is one of the most unequal cities in North America. It has the least affordable housing, not in Canada, not in North America, in the Commonwealth. Most unaffordable housing in Canada, the United States, New Zealand, Australia. It's supposed to take 3 years for housing to be affordable. It should take 3 years of income to be able to buy a home. In Vancouver, it takes 9.5 years, okay? Gentrification doesn't just drive housing up in this, housing prices up in this neighborhood. It drives the cost of everything up in this neighborhood. And it drives the cost of everything up across the city. And this is the model that's being put forward. So I think it's really important to challenge this idea that Canada doesn't have any problems, that we're so much better than the United States. This is the part of the country that nobody wants to look at, right? We know that. And you know, there was so much anger at Occupy Vancouver, anger at seeing homelessness, anger at seeing drug addiction and mental health problems. They just wanted to sweep it away. Bring it back to the downtown east side. That's what they were saying. But now in the downtown east side, they're trying to sweep it away from here. So this is a disgrace. This is a disgrace. And I'm proud to be with you, saying no, drawing the line. There's been a lot of drawing the lines today. As Harsha said, people say we're going to put a wall up. We're not going to let your pipelines through. And I'm so proud to be with you today, saying we're not going to let your condos through either. Up and down the street. I don't know if you saw them saying, "Welcome, Naomi Klein," saying you can buy a copy of the Shock Doctrine for $61 at Spartacus Books. Okay, we called Spartacus Books a few minutes ago. They don't have any copies of the Shock Doctrine, but they have a copy of the logo for $6. So all I can say is, I hope he doesn't plan on marking up condominiums as much as he marked up my book. This is a businessman not to be trusted. Williams that he's acting as if this is a game, and he is playing with people's lives, and he should be deeply ashamed of himself. This is not a game. This is about survival.
Sequel 138 welcomes displacement. Naomi Klein supports downtown East Side fight against gentrification.
Michelle, for the last 6 weeks, we've been on the road, driven over 7,000 miles. This is the 24th city we've been to, the first in Canada, where we've been visiting with movements, occupation movements. And the thing that, after talking to hundreds of people, hearing remarkable stories of hope, stories of despair, what it made me realize is that this is one of the great democratic movements in human history, and that's what is really important to remember, that all the movements that we think of, that we talk about, that we study, that we participate in, the labor movement, women's movements, indigenous movements, environmental movements, fundamentally they're democratic movements. They're about people having control over the decisions and institutions that affect their lives. It means having control over the land. It means having control over political institutions, having control over our bodies, having control over the environment, and in many ways, most of all, having control over the economy, because that is precisely what the 1% do not want. They do not want us to have any sort of control, because then they can sweep us into the margins and gutters and extract the wealth from us. And so we need to remember what this movement is about, because one of the great things is it's really united us. There are many differences, but when we go across the country, it's been crazy at times in terms of just the type of stories that we hear, and even some of the ideas can be a little bit crazy at times, as you can imagine in the United States. But nonetheless, we found so many people. We found nurses, teachers, veterans at every single site. We even found conservatives and Tea Party members who all see themselves as the 99%, who all see that the main issue is the corporate control of politics and our economy, and that we need to smash it, and we need to take back what is ours. That is not their wealth, that is our wealth. It is our land, it is our society. And this struggle, it may take a while, it may take decades, but we will win, because we need to win. And we need to win back the world for ourselves and for future generations.